Happy Saturday. Many thanks for joining the program. The news in detail with me, Gloria Mutisi. Starting us off tonight, Kamonyi district residents have asked officials to build the necessary infrastructure in the district's most beautiful areas in order to attract more tourists and preserve their heritage, which would again further boost tourism. It's while the Rwanda Development Board officials reiterate that an increase in tourism that is not park-based will make a positive impact on tourism productivity as well as helping recovery of the country's economy. Ghislaine Mugwaneza begins our coverage tonight.
Ijuru rya Kamonyi is a place that has got its particular history because of the fact that it is where King Yuhi III Mazimhaka lived and died. The residents of the area say location should be developed and become a tourist attraction. There are requests to rebuild and construct infrastructure in this place so that it becomes attractive. As in the country's history, we hear there are attractive hills to visit, and they have history behind. It would be better if we also get the chance to have an attractive hill to be visited. There are some investors that started investing in different activities in tourism, including rock climbing, and people have been welcoming such new initiatives, but also point out that the necessary infrastructure must be in place for them to strive. It will reveal another insight to people that it's not only gorillas that we have to visit. This shows that we have a lot to visit in tourism sector. I was invited by my friend and I had no idea about this. So next time, this one will also be added on my list. We want to build a campsite here and build toilets and other basic needs in 3 months to come, and we're being helped by the district. I think we're about to achieve this. Local communities have also started business to support the tourism sector in different areas, and say business has begun to pick up.
When they have tourists that want to go for rock climbing, they first pass by Stanford Coffee and have some coffee and snacks either in the coffee shop or we give them takeaway. That is how we work with them and support each other. First, we work together for progress. Second, we are partners. And third, we work as a team so that we elevate the tourism sector in Kamonyi, as well as other tourism activities that are not park-based.
The acting chief tourism officer at RDB, Ariela Kageruka, has said that the increase in tourism that is not park-based will make a positive impact on tourism productivity, as well as helping recovery of the country's economy. This is not the first time we have invited groups like this on such familiarization trips, and we appreciate the fact that these partners chose to come to Rwanda despite the COVID-19, though it is clear that the pandemic is subsiding worldwide as the preventive measures continue to be effective. So these sorts of trips are helping to revive the tourism sector that had been shaken by the COVID-19 pandemic. The tourism sector produced $121 million in 2020 and $598 million the previous year. Tourism is part of the service sector that accounts for more than 40% of the country's GDP. Ghislaine Mugwaneza, RTV News.
More than 40,000 families have been removed from the list of those who need assistance from the government after their social welfare has improved, while there are others who do not meet the requirements needed to join the list. On the other hand, 27,000 families have also been added onto that list, and the beneficiaries to this assistance say they are happy to this regard.
Daniel Dusengumuremi is a 36-year-old and lives in Bukesera district in Manyanja sector. He has been disabled for 9 years due to an accident he once encountered. He was later selected as the beneficiary of the VUP program for those who are the most vulnerable in society and unable to work. For the last 1 year, he has received 21,000 Rwandan francs monthly. He further saved his money in hopes that one day he would start a business in order to make a good living. He then acknowledged the tremendous progress he made and requested that he be removed from the list of beneficiaries.
ndanibaza ntese ntacyo nakora kirenze meeting.
I asked myself if there was anything else I could do beyond working for MTN as an agent, so I went and looked for people to co-sign so that I could get a loan. I then went to the bank and got a loan of 1 million Rwandan francs in April, and now it has been 6 months that I have been using the loan money. But because I saw there was an opportunity to get out of being a me-to-you guy and an area for self-development, and I never thought I would accomplish this much as a disabled person.
Ntere kujya ku muhanda gucuruza mitiyu ntabwo numvaga ko hari icyo nashobora gukora maze kumugara.
Daniel and his colleagues across the country who were beneficiaries of financial assistance from the government express gratitude and say they've been able to overcome poverty.
When the government helps you to overcome poverty, you need to make good use of that money so that you show a good example to those that are in the same program.
Every year, the government of Rwanda conducts an analysis and looks for the beneficiaries of the VUP program in order to help the most vulnerable in society. For those who do not meet the requirements and for those who now are able to support themselves are replaced by those who deserve the grants. Some of the beneficiaries have made significant progress in developing themselves, but still are requesting for continued support. Paskasi Nyiramana is a 70-year-old woman living in Ruhuha sector in Bugesera district. She has been receiving financial support since 2019. In 2021, she was withdrawn from the list because they found out she has children living abroad and were able to build her house. And one of the telecommunications companies in Rwanda built their mast in her compounds and pay her 400,000 Rwandan francs per month. I feel like I should be on that list till the day I die. Like, this house is not mine. It's for my child that lives abroad. When he comes back, he'll want to move into his house. Local authorities in the sectors and districts emphasize that for those who already developed themselves and are asking to be removed from the list are still being helped and adamant to get off the list. There's an agreement that they sign once they're removed from the list. They should remember that in the next 3 years, they should have progressed into a better person and be able to help others in the future. The Local Administrative Entities Development Agency, LODA, notes that the people in the beneficiary categories should learn to make good use of their money in order to overcome poverty. The Director General of LODA urges the people to work hard to elevate themselves out of poverty with the help of government programs. The Director General of LODA urges the people to work hard to elevate themselves out of poverty with the help of government development programs. When someone is given financial assistance so that they can develop themselves, they need to use this opportunity and make good use of that money instead of waiting for the government to always help them, because with that they will never improve themselves. They will just be stagnant. The money they are given is to buy food so they can survive. But when somebody works hard, they develop themselves and their families. An analysis conducted by LODA in the current fiscal year 2021-2022 on the VUP program, including the elderly, those with severe disabilities, and the young children caring for their siblings, indicate that in 2020-2021, the beneficiaries of the financial support from the government are 119,463 families. The districts at the top of the list with the most beneficiaries include Nyamasheke, Gicumbi, Bugesera, and Karungi district. For those who have been removed from the list of the program comprise of 40,075 families, while the number of new households have been increased to 27,691. The total number of recipients currently receiving the funds is 107,079, and they have a budget of 18 billion Rwandan francs a year. Gabi Muvunyi, reporting for RTV News.
Many thanks, Gabi Muvunyi. To other matters, people who are getting married say that even though the attendance of weddings is not the way they would like it to be, they're still grateful that such events are even allowed to take place, considering the rate COVID-19 poses. Youth volunteers that ensure that COVID-19 preventive measures are respected say that the people generally understand the importance of protecting themselves and others. Stationary with the details.
At the Kapgai Cathedral on Saturday, a total of 3 weddings were held, nothing compared to the number of weddings the cathedral used to hold before the COVID-19 pandemic began, and attendance was reduced to as few people as possible.
by'ukuri bitewe n'imibanire umuntu aba afitanye n'abantu nabura hakaba hari nk'abantu 300.
I would have expected that my wedding be attended by at least 300 people, but there are not even 50. Obviously, I'm not as happy as I would have been had there been more people, but the reasons for us doing this are clear. After all, I cannot be expected to keep postponing my wedding until the number of people I want can attend.
Yubaka urugo avuga ngo kanaka na kanaka badahari ntiryarema.
Indeed, the wedding had been postponed several times because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but Tuishimire and his partner decided to go ahead while respecting the preventive measures in place, finding it better than waiting indefinitely. Social distancing was respected among the few that did attend, and there were 2 volunteers here to ensure that all preventive measures are respected. They are very careful about the capacity of the cathedral and the people they allow inside. The volunteers themselves told us that enforcing the measures is not something they negotiate about.
Umukwe n'umugeni yenda na marene na pare abo ngabo.
We usually have no problems with the couples getting married and their entourage because they know they must first get tested. The issues arise with the guests attending the wedding. Some of them come with no proof that they got tested, and in such cases we have no choice but to turn them away. The Kabgai Cathedral has 50 volunteers who work on a rotational basis, and the premises itself gets regular visits from local and health authorities to check that everything is in order. Over the last 5 days, 77 people have contracted COVID-19 in Muhanga district, the infection rate ranging between 9 and 24 people daily.
Now, youth that live outside Kigali city say they are ready to take the COVID-19 vaccine. However, the vaccination of young people is yet to begin in rural areas. The Minister of Local Government has urged local authorities in the provinces to start preparing for the vaccination program that is set to begin soon. Jocelyn Mukwaneza.
To start, elderly people and frontliners were the first to be vaccinated, and the government is now focusing on vaccinating other categories of people across the country. Youth that live outside of Kigali city are sure that they know the value of the vaccine and they're ready to take one.
I am ready to be vaccinated, and it would be better if they were to bring them near our home areas. That would help us indeed.
We want to also get vaccinated so that we keep on protecting ourselves. I'll keep on fighting the pandemic while putting on the face mask properly. But it could be better if I get vaccinated. The government of Rwanda has an objective vaccinating at least 40% of eligible people by the end of 2021. The Minister of Local Government, Jean-Marie Vianney Gatabazi, has urged local authorities in the provinces to start preparing for the vaccination program that is set to begin soon.
We are reminding the executive secretaries that they will work with health officials and security organs when we get the vaccines, because that is the first thing to do. Other services can stop and resume later so that people can get vaccinated, because these vaccines must all be administered before more can come in.
People are reminded to keep following measures in place to fight the pandemic, even after getting vaccinated. According to the health officials, 25 to 30% of the target population has now been vaccinated.
Staying on COVID-19 related matters, some people have continued to be seen breaking the COVID-19 preventive guidelines in place in various public areas of Kigali city. Most, however, have vowed their commitment to not become complacent towards the guidelines.
Anyone visiting commercial buildings, markets or bus stations are required to comply with the COVID-19 preventive measures. This is aimed at preventing the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, even though a good number of people have been vaccinated. Everyone is encouraged to wash their hands with clean water and soap so that they can feel safe, and to also properly wear their mask and to keep a social distance. Being vaccinated does not mean that one should stop adhering to these measures. In the morning when we get here, we put people on a schedule. and see who is supposed to work on that day. For those that come to work and they're not on the schedule, are told to go back home. However, in commercial buildings, including the markets, it is evident that there is clear negligence regarding complying with the COVID-19 regulations in some instances. The Nyabugogo market traders work at a 50% capacity rate, but when you get on site, there are people crowded together every time suppliers come in. The new stock comes in, there's a slight crowding of people to see what has come in, but we don't usually crowd in this place. We have all been vaccinated. At least 3 in 4 people here are vaccinated. When you have been vaccinated, you feel confident and you can continue with your daily work, and you feel that you cannot get infected. The fact that some people tend to ignore the preventive guidelines after they have been vaccinated means extra work for the youth volunteers.
For us volunteers, the work has just only begun because many people are now complacent after getting vaccinated, and we need to put all our effort to further remind them that COVID-19 is still here and they need to follow all the guidelines, and that being vaccinated does not mean that they cannot get infected or infect others. There are those we tell to wash their hands or properly wear their masks, and their response is always that they have been vaccinated.
The Minister of Local Government emphasizes that the COVID-19 preventive measures should be strictly followed as they are.
We remind those that have been vaccinated that being vaccinated does not mean that they should stop washing their hands, wearing their masks properly, or practicing social distancing, because you can still get infected with COVID-19 and infect others. We urge the public to remain vigilant as they used to be by wearing their face masks properly and always maintaining social distance, and to stop that narrative that they have been vaccinated and that nothing can happen to them.
Figures from the Ministry of Health indicate that more than 1.8 million people in the country have received one COVID-19 vaccine dose, while over 1.3 million are fully vaccinated. Gabi Muvunyi, reporting for RTV News.
Welcome back. You're still watching RTV News. Now, mothers who perform manual labor under the Vision Umurenje program are happy that the program has also set up daycare centers near where they work and where they can leave their children and not have to worry about their safety. The daycare centers under the Vision Umurenje program were set up to help unable mothers in the informal sector to get a place for their children to stay, be fed, and prepare them for school. They are set up near where their mothers work from and are free of charge. The mothers are glad that this is a solution to all the challenges they were going through leaving their children behind as they went to work. I have 3 children. Whenever I would go to work, my children will be loitering in the village with no one taking care of them. But since we got the daycare center in Ntendezi cell, it helps us to take care of our children. They are usually there by 7 in the morning and are given porridge and then come back home by 11. And I also get back home and prepare for them lunch. So far, 300 of the poorest sectors in the various parts of the country have been included and have included these daycare centers, which operate from chosen people's homes that are fully equipped to take care of these children between the years of 2 and 6. Those in charge of staying with and taking care of the children are chosen from among the mothers who were paid through the VUP program. This was a solution to our children suffering, but currently they are well taken care of. I also profit from the money I am paid and have been able to get my home and have built a bathroom while also enjoying to take care of the children. Nyamashoche district is one of the districts with 253 daycare centers taking care of the children from disadvantaged families, in addition to the already existing 1,000 centers that were taking care of the children. District officials point out that these centers have helped reduce levels of malnutrition, especially in families with fewer resources.
abana biriwemo baba bafite igikoma cyo kunywa.
The children are given porridge and any other assistance they might need, together with the caretakers who belong to the VUP programs who are paid. So this is a solution to the challenges the parents used to face before, and it also helps the parents do their work in peace without worrying about the safety of their children. The local administrative entities development agency says these centers were included under the VUP program because most mothers were employed under the program and would leave their children behind without proper care, and sometimes this would lead to malnutrition and abuse. We give them the equipment such as chairs, saucepans they need to cook, and basins, together with toys for children to play with and train their brains. We also give them money to buy food stuff to boost the children's immunity, and we also train the parents that stay with these children. They can even get jobs there if perhaps a mother can be able to read and write. We train them to be able to effectively offer good services to these children, so it benefits both the children and their parents. The government of Rwanda currently provides more than 65 billion Rwanda francs annually towards supporting the needy, from which over 15 million is paid to those doing informal jobs in regards to protecting different infrastructure projects.